Good afternoon. So several updates to my dear audience. First, maybe you know that I like to hear Wagner, and my favorite opera is actually one of his firsts. Not his first, but his first major opera, which is the Flying Hollander, the Flying Dutchman. Flying Dutchman. It's considered a simple one, but I liked it. I cannot connect to the ring, like to the Siegfried and stuff. But Rienzi is also nice, and also Tannhäuser. But I'm kind of like I'm like a light Wagner fan, not like hardcore. Maybe I'll turn into hardcore in the future. I don't know. I also like the graphic novel Watchmen. I've written about it in the past, and maybe you had like the opportunity to read my commentary, my recenzia on the matter. So I don't know if you understand the connection between the two, like the Flying Dutchman and Watchmen. For the readers of the graphic novel, it's quite obvious. I think that in the actual movie adaptation of Zack Snyder, if I'm not mistaken, it was quite long movie, and it did not contain the whole issue of the Flying Dutchman, like the Black Sheep. But if I'm not mistaken, it was included as a bonus material in extended cut, like for DVD or Blu-ray, maybe. And I think that I've seen it actually. I'm almost certain that it was not part of the theatrical run because it was already, it's very long. Anyway, I've spoken a lot about the Home Alone scenario, which is kind of both extremely strong divination. I felt it throughout at least 3 last years, and many times it was extremely strong reenactment, that I feel that I walk the streets and I feel like I'm part of the scenario, because some reenactments are done that you are really, it's not psychosis because you do know that you are not part of it. You do understand that this is reenactment, but it's extremely strong. It's reenactment of like the Civil War or very common thing, but that you feel like a soldier, that you feel like actually in it, and you feel like a real soldier. I guess it happened. I was never part a multiplayer reenactment, massive multiplayer reenactment like you see in the movies, and I guess it happens also. In such because of the sensory overload, the sounds, I guess, and visuals and fatigue and things like that. But this was extremely important the Home Alone. I speak about it in many videos. I don't want to repeat myself. I just say that this is a metaphor for every day of my life, and it's also something that happened in the past. Not to me specifically, maybe also to me, but I couldn't know. Part of the thing is that you don't know that you are left behind. You're home alone when everybody is living. But it actually happened. Probably during the 1980s, late 1980s, where many Titans left Israel and rescued presumably by the Americans, but betrayed their savior and told that a clone, one of that was presumably on the ship, was him, but the real one was stayed in Israel, to be tortured by the Israelis. And this is both an historical event, but also a metaphor for every day of my life, because every day of my life is essentially this scenario. Every day that I'm here is essentially this scenario. One thing that should be left to say that in some way this actual, and I said that the outcome of this scenario is different between divinations and reenactments. It's not always the same. But one kind of outcome, I never thought about it until very recently, I must admit. Even though it might have been something that I should have thought about, because both of the issue of midah keneged midah, the crime that fits, the punishment that fits the crime, that I speak about a lot in this blog, because it's a main divine theme in many religions, and it's part of life. And also because it relates to the Flying Dutchman and to Watchmen, the Black Sheep episode in the Watchmen, the graphic novel. And according to this scenario, they didn't die, God didn't burn the ship, and they didn't, continue their life freely without any repercussions. But this is actually a realistic scenario that that relates to much of the things that I spoke about, like in this channel in the last like months. And because of this scenario, they were all infected with the disease. And this is a major theme because, I mean, diseases and bacteria is a major part of, I mean, evolution, exploitation, and the general themes that we discuss. This is both true in reality because we've seen tremendous amount of life forms that created in the lab in here, like, I mean, even colossal ones. I mean, this is a fact. I mean, we have tons of life forms in the metal aquariums here, you see, I mean, and in the other aquariums. It's also create new ones. And also, of course, I mean, the most nasty ones, like this one, is a metaphor for the ego. Like, this is Satan. This is Satan. It's the worst of all, the worst bacteria. And according to this kind of like interpretation of events, they were actually left to serve in the US Navy in a ship because they can't get out of there because they are all infected with this serious bacteria, and there are thousands of them, and they don't know, I mean, and they have shape-shifting abilities, so they all shape-shifted, like, I mean, to be part of the Israeli, but the American Navy. And presumably they inhabit the carriers, like the George W. Bush. Above it, you can see the HMS Vengeance. Of course, the idea is that, I mean, that the carrier will become, you know, it goes up, the carrier will become the submarine. Both carriers and submarines are known metaphors for the Titans for several reasons, but here it's not used metaphorically, like the real, but it's never like one. It's not only the H.W. Bush, because it's never like that. The carriers never walk like that. They always walk in sets. Like, I mean, it's always flash. Like, I mean, everything of the same, you know, type. You know, so it's the old 11. Like, I mean, I don't know what's the one that's going like that is now near Israel or going to be near Israel, but doesn't matter. It's always the 11. I mean, the whole set, like all set. It's flashed. You also see the American flag. Actually, artistically, I kind of liked it. I mean, it's not stretched, and it was like, you know, in storage. And I mean, unfortunately, I mean, the way that I store everything in this closet, I mean, is not the best way. And things are, I mean, what can I do? I mean, I don't have any other place. That's my room. I wish I could have stored it for stretched, you know, on canvas and like on frames because it hurts. But I mean, I have what can I do? I just hope that, I mean, sometime I will be rescued. I mean, I will rescue myself, I guess, or God will rescue me from this place, so I'll be able to have like room that, I mean, among other things, I mean, I will be able to not hurt the existing works of art. This is actually one that I really like. It's very heavy, like, I mean, it's many like layers, one on top of the other. Somewhat, I mean, presumably, I mean, you know, with I mean, more than a bit of hubris, I can say that it's like kind of like, I mean, in a way, as they say, I mean, it's in a dialogue. I mean, it's created like in the dialogue with the American flag in MoMA. You know, what's his name? I almost forget his name. I mean, interestingly, he's still alive, even though this work of art was created in like in the 50s, I think, and it's in the MoMA, and he's actually still alive because he was very young when he created it, and it's actually a very interesting work of art. I've seen it, of course. I mean, when I went to the MoMA. And it's something that you cannot like appreciate by reproductions, even that it's got like billion reproductions. But I mean, you must see the real thing because it's a work of art like one that, I mean, the type of that I like, that is very sensual. Like, I mean, that it lasts. I mean, it loses everything like in reproductions. Like, I mean, the American flag in the MoMA. What was his name? Jackson, maybe? I don't know. He's still alive. This is amazing. Like, I mean. Like, it's like saying that, like, I don't know, that Leonardo da Vinci is still alive. Like, I mean, I would assume he died like 1,000,000 years ago, but no, he's actually still alive, the guy. Yes. So it's kind of like in a dialogue with this, with the flag from the MoMA. And of course, as you know, this is also, I mean, instructions for the fleet, for the radiation. We also have the British flag, but this is also used mostly like as instruction for the fleet. So yes, I mean, so they are used as the American like to say, the machines. I mean, machines of diplomacy. Like, I mean, the carriers, because they have this, you know, ton of like, I mean, hybrids. Like, I mean, and Titans over there with psychic ability. That, I mean, they don't really need the airplanes, even though many of them are actually pilots, and it was like that even in Israel. But they can, of course, help, like, I mean, Israel to to fight the war with a bunch of teenagers in Gaza Strip. And of course, you know exactly why this war is even exists in the first place, which is of course the demise of the caracas, of the hybrids. They're not only females, of course. I mean, the demise of the hybrids, the crisis that they had recently, that is used, among other things, to control the Arab population. And I've mentioned that explicitly in the last 2 weeks in this channel. So, I mean, with all, modesty, I can say that this was a prophecy that was, fulfilled very quickly. It was mentioned many times in the last 2 weeks that part of the demise of this kind of, mind controllers should be the release of many Palestinians from their jail, mental jail, and I hope that they will take the opportunity to perhaps, do things that, sometimes free slaves are doing, newly freed slaves are doing. You watch the Django Unchained. The title Django Unchained was, was surfaced in this channel, quite a bit of time, even recently. So yes, Django Unchained. So this is actually what you see now in Israel, and I hope that it will take, it will not end soon. I hope it will be a long process as much as possible. And of course, the Americans want to end it quickly, and so that's why they, send their machine of diplomacy with all the titans sick and in more than one day. In more than one way. So hopefully, this is another, of course, painting that, of the radiation of the Earth. Very old, quite old one, maybe 2 years ago, or 1.5 years ago. And this is the bacteria. So yeah, this will be our kind of agenda for today. I need to get out to buy food. I have no food, of course, with the permission of the Guardian. I am starving. I need food, and my mother sent me 200 shekels so I can buy a little food, not to starve. And I thought that for the first time I'll do something that I haven't done, but I've thought about it a lot in the past, and it was actually premeditated, and spoke about it in the past, in the channel, not in this channel, but in YouTube and in Twitter, which is, you have the Caribbean room, but you also have the portable. I spoke about quite a bit of the portable. The Titans also have portable, the portable construction, which means that if they go, on the go, they also can carry on them, the symbolical, material, so it will be effective when they are on the go. It's something that I haven't done in the, recently, in the last couple of, maybe, certainly in the last year, but, it was, I spoke about it in the past. So, I would also take with me, now I need to get out, to buy food, various, paintings from our collection that are in set with what we have here. Here we have, I'm not going to open it because, I don't feel like it, but this is like a starship that I'm flying the Earth. This is, a small American flag, small British Union Jack, and the Ronald Reagan, I don't have it in small, but this is the smallest that I have, of the carriers. So the Ronald Reagan droning, the carrier droning. I hope it will get into the the bag. I think it will. And the closing of the gates symbol, a very nice painting of the Asterion, which is a great symbol in my art, very prominent symbol. The Minotaur without eyes, with darkened eyes, symbolism of blindness, and also in the middle of the gate, which means the gate is closed and by him. So I will carry it with me, and we'll see how it will affect reality. And of course, most of all, we should all pray for the demise of this carrier and the Nazi American state. Again, I will repeat what I've said in the previous video. Israel is a trash can, and it's like this for many decades. The real villains are the United States. Israel is a leopard dog. Israel is a leopard dog. A leopard dog. I don't give a fuck about Israel. Yes, they should all, perish because I need a place to live. I need to breathe. I need to, drink water without toxin. But, if I had, another place, I wouldn't even care about Israel. The real villains are the United States, and the Caribs will never forgive them. Regarding Shoam, I spoke about Shoam in the last couple of days. So I've just seen that there is a new, a psak din, a verdict in the Mishmoret case, for the child, with the social workers of Shoam, that presumably because I didn't reply to the social workers review, it's now it's adapted as verdict, which means I need to go to Shoam every week to the place, to the offices of the social workers, which is unheard of in Israel. There are מרכזי קשר, but such as a proposition to go to the office of the social workers to see your children. This is unheard of in Israel. And of course, it's stated very clearly in the social work review that it's okay that they will not be there, but any other social worker or even a student of social work can be there while I'm there. This is unheard of. Of course, just to explain if you don't understand, I lived in Shoam for 4 years and they abused me all the time. My mere presence in the city was a great source of health to them. The citizens, when I walk in the street, they exchange, their robots with me and they infect me with diseases while they get clean health. My mere presence was a blessing to them. But it wasn't enough and they tortured me without end. Without end. And again, and again, and again, and again. I should remind you, this is a concentration camp that is managed by the United States of America. All my neighbors were on the payroll of the CIA, all of them, in 41 Emikaelon Street, all of them. And they tortured me because it was not enough. And I moved to my mother's apartment because I didn't have money after 4 years, during August last year. But I still raised my daughters in shared custody in a room in my mother's apartment. And I tried to think how to get money by selling my artwork. And of course, working more, it was more rigorously on the various art and artworks, both capturing and paintings. But I still went to Shoam several times a week. 6 times a week actually, to get my daughters from school and to get and put them back. So they still enjoyed my presence, tremendously. But it wasn't enough for the social workers because the social workers had a great idea. If we can actually start a case against him and they completely control the significant other, she's a slave. They completely control her. So they had a great idea. We can start a new trial. Then we will write the actual review because that's the way it is. So we will start a new trial. We will create a review to the court. And then he will have to not just go to Shoam just to any place because this does not serve them explicitly. They are all work in cells, as you know. Then he will have to go to their place to see his daughters, to the office of the social workers, which is unheard of in Israel. And so they will be the masters of these assets, this bag of never-ending fountain of youth, the fountain of health. And it's not only that they will have access to him, at least an hour every week, they can also sell this access to other people because it's stated that, other social workers and other students of social work can actually be present. So how can you know who is a social worker student? Any person, pays them enough money, can be a student of social work and get an access to this fountain of health for an hour a week. What a great idea! I will never set foot in the city of Shoam. This is a promise. They are already eaten alive by worms. That's why you see the verdict right now. Because they think, what have these social workers done? Because this trial, it does not appear at all at Shoam. So they lost everything that they already had. So they thought, maybe we will actually, publish the verdict, and he will have to come an hour every week. No, I do not have to do anything with this regard, and I will not do everything in this regard. This does not serve the benefit of my children. The benefit of my children is that the state of Israel will cease to exist, and every predator will die. Every predator. I will never set foot in this city. They are eaten alive by worms, but the worst is far from coming. It's coming, but it's far from already arrived. They will be eaten by stuff much worse than worms. The citizens of this city, much worse than worms, will eat them alive. Much, they will miss the time when only worms were eating them from the inside and they couldn't eat and they always were fasting. They are going to miss this time because much darker times are coming. They will pray to God to end this nightmare, but without avail. I swear, these social workers will not see my face. Never again. Never. Never. Again, everything was done, financed by the Americans, the United States of America. Everything. Some naive people in the various intelligence agencies watch now the movies, like the videos that I just published regarding superconductivity and solar gates and microscopic examinations and physical theories, and they ask themselves, how is it possible that such a genius, and obviously an educated person, is treated like a scum of the earth? How come they didn't know that he's so smart? Why did they treat them like a buffoon? Why did they always insisted on placing guardians on him and all sorts of like horse and pimps to guide him in his way in life. Didn't they understand that it doesn't fit the person? The answer is very simply. There were only two kinds of intelligence people that were somewhere involved or had any knowledge about my case. And this is true globally. One, they didn't care at all, and one that knew everything that there is to know. Everything that there is to know. My subjugation and humiliation is a political agenda of the government of the United States of America. It's not a mistake. It's not a corruption of one CIA agent or another. It's a political agenda of the United States of America. And it was, without a doubt, it would have been continuing to be the political agenda indefinitely, if not that they have seen in the telescope the hammer that is about to destroy their land completely. Only this hammer convinced them otherwise. They did not care about superconductors for the same reasons that Israel do not care about superconductors. Because this belongs to the realm of manufacturing, a thing that should be done and is done by China. And if China wants room temperature superconductors, then go ahead and invent these things. And if it's difficult, then please work harder, Chinese people. We will not relinquish our assets for the benefit of manufacturing. It is us by right, and it should be used for cannibalism the way it was always used since it was a child. He will be imprisoned and be cannibalized by us. Don't speak to us about superconductors, you Chinese slaves. This is your problem. Please invent it if it's so important to you. This was the political agenda of Israel, and this is the political agenda of the United States of America. And it would have been continued to be the agenda if they didn't see the hammer in the telescope that is about to crush their land. We will never forgive the United States of America. Never, 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 never. They do not know what kind of enemy they have procured to themselves.